Good morning, students. So today's topic is setting out of curves. You can call that this is the important topic of your entire module in this. If you can able to understand this particular session of the lecture, then it will be very easy for you to understand the whole module, you can say, because entire module depends on how best you understand this particular topic. So be attentive and try to understand every sentence which I am going to speak, right? So I insist everyone to make a reference of every statement I make in the form of the notes, whatever you write. And I also request every student to have the copy of textbook surveying volume 2 from PC Punya, so that you can easily understand the topic whatever I am discussing. So I have already made you the soft copy of the textbook. So if it is possible, try to have with you whenever you are seeing this video, and that will simplify your most of the work, right? So in any of the video sessions, whatever we are engaging, I request everyone to go through the textbook immediately after the video session, so that whatever you have understood from the video can be easily seen and that can be retained into your head for a longer time, right? So let us see what is this topic is all about, and let us learn what is meant by setting out curves, right? Setting out of curves means actually marking the curve on the ground. You can say that setting out of curves means it is actually drawing the curve on the field, right? So civil engineers are required to construct the roads. So when you construct the roads, you may have to divert the direction. That is what I have spoken about this in the beginning of the curves topic in the first lesson, that whenever you change the direction, change in direction cannot be abrupt. So you need to provide a smooth curve, smooth transition of the change in direction. So that is possible only by providing a curve, right? So you have started with some kind of origin, and you have to reach your destination there, and in between you come across number of change in direction. So to avoid them, you have to provide a curve. So I will take one such an example where there is a change in direction. Then I will tell you what exactly will be the problem you are going to face whenever you start actually constructing the roads or providing the curves for the change in direction, and how it is to be done, right? Now, setting out curve means it has to be actually drawn over the ground. So when I have to draw the curve over the ground, imagine if I ask you to draw the curve of certain radius in your paper, right? For an example, if I ask you to draw a curve of 5 centimeter radius. So if I ask you to draw 5 centimeter curve radius, so it is quite an easy thing for you. You take the compass, you take the scale, you measure 5 centimeter in the scale, and then you simply draw an arc. So whatever length of arc is required, you draw that, isn't it? So just to make you understand what exactly I am trying to tell you, if this is what is the change in direction required, we were going in this direction, then there is a change in direction required for the road. So you cannot abruptly change the road direction like this. So you are supposed to start deviating the direction well in advance, then you reach the other direction, isn't it? So if I have to tell you that I need to fit up a curve into this, then I have to have the knowledge of transportation engineering, which we are going to learn in our next semester. So there is a subject called transportation engineering, where you will be exclusively learning about the highway engineering, how exactly the roads are being designed, right? So that depends on the speed with which the vehicle is going to move, right? For an example, if the speed of the vehicle is 80 km/h, right? So when you change the direction abruptly, you cannot maintain the same speed, isn't it? So if the road is changing in direction like this, is it possible to change the direction with 80 km/h speed? Highly impossible, right? So when you provide a curve, then it becomes possible to travel with the same speed even during the change in direction. That is why the curves are provided, right? So if I have to maintain this speed, then I have to maintain some radius for the curve. It is not like that you just provide a small curve so that change of direction can be achieved. So that is not possible. You are supposed to provide a curve with such a radius that same speed can be maintained without any discomfort, right? That is what is the objective of construction of the road, right? So in transportation engineering, what exactly you are going to learn is you decide what exactly has to be the radius. This is the part of transportation engineering. So if I have to design the curve, then what should be my radius so that vehicle should travel with 80 km per hour. So this is what you are going to decide in your transportation engineering, right? So once this is decided, right, after this you are supposed to provide the curve here, right? So if I have to provide a curve, just an example, you have provided a curve of 300 meter radius for an example. Now if I have to provide 300 meter radius curve in the field, I am talking about actually having the curve drawn in the field itself where the road construction is going on, right? So imagine 300 meter, 5 centimeters you can easily measure with the help of scale, and you use compass, then you draw. Then if it is 300 meter radius curve, such a large radius curve, right? If I have to draw over the field, how I am going to do that? Can I get such a large compass so that I put a compass and I start from somewhere here, then I draw a large arc of 300 meter radius, which is highly impossible, isn't it? So that is why if I have to draw such a curve, then what is going to be done in surveying, or how I am going to achieve this in surveying, is by this technique. That is what is called as setting out of curve. The meaning of setting out of curve is drawing the curve in the field or establishing the curve in the field, right? So now I am going to tell you how exactly the curve is being set out in the field, right? So for that, you need to understand few of the things here, right? So as I have told you, this is one straight, this is one more straight, one tangent, another tangent, backward tangent, forward tangent, and this is point of intersection. This is angle of intersection delta, right? And you have decided with the radius of curve. So I will have the radius of curve. I will show the curve first, then this is the radius of the curve, and this will also be equal to delta, right? And this point is T1, this point is T2. This is called as point of curve, and this is called as point of tangency, and this is point of intersection, PI, PC and PT, right? So in the field, what is available for you is only two lines, that's it. In the field, what is available to you is only the two lines, right? And with you, what is available is radius, which is decided in the office itself. In the office, you sit together and you come across with the R by using some of the formula what is available in transportation engineering, right? Based on the speed with which the vehicle should travel over the curve, right? So you have decided what is R. Delta you can actually measure in the field. You can actually measure delta in the field with the help of theodolite, right? So I can place the theodolite on V, right? And I can measure this angle delta, right? So how that is done is, so set the theodolite at point V, set angle, horizontal angles to 0 degree, 0 minutes and 0 seconds, right? Then unclamp the lower plate and turn the telescope towards T1, right? So there is no point called T1 there, right? You just have to have your direction towards the backward tangent. You can keep a ranging rod somewhere on this line and you can sight the ranging rod. Now the angle is reading 0 degree, 0 minutes and 0 seconds, and then the telescope is towards backward tangent. Now you transit, right? Transit the telescope. Transit means reversing, plunging, right? So once you plunge the telescope, your line of sight becomes this, right? And the angle will remain 0 degree, 0 minutes and 0 seconds because you have not touched the lower plate, right? Or the upper plate. Horizontal plates are restricted. So only vertical movement of the telescope is allowed. So angle remains 0 degree, 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Now unclamp the upper plate. Unclamp the upper plate and turn in clockwise direction towards the forward tangent, right? You can keep a ranging rod anywhere on this line, right, on the forward tangent, and sight the ranging rod, right? So you are simply aligning the telescope along forward tangent, right? Now whatever angle you get in vernier A or vernier B, you can read both and you can take the average of this, right? So whatever angle you get, that will be delta. So this is how the exterior angle in a line is measured always, right? So once delta is measured in the field, remember R you will get in the office, right, by using transportation engineering techniques, and you will get delta in field directly. So that is how you will end up having R and delta, right? So in the last session, if you remember, in the problems whatever we have discussed, R and delta was given to you, right? So those are the two things whatever you will generally have in your solution, right? And during the last session I have even mentioned what is meant by chainage. Chainage means distance of that point from the origin, from where the road has started, right? So somewhere down the line you have started with your road construction, then you have ended with this, right? Then there is a change in direction. Now if I definitely I will be having what is the chainage of point V, isn't it? So chainage of point V is known to us, right? For an example, 1.90 meter. 1190 meter is the chainage of point V, that is point of intersection. This point is 1190 meter away from origin, right? So now using this, you are supposed to find out the chainage of PC and chainage of PT, chainage of T1, chainage of T2. How I am going to do that? Because using the chainages we will be able to establish the curve, right? So why I am telling you to find out chainage of T1 and chainage of T2 is because I should know from where curve will start. That is what the definition of point of curve. Point of curve means what? It is the point from where curve starts. And what is the meaning of point of tangency? It is the point at which curve ends. I should know on these two lines where curve starts, where curve ends. Because remember, in the field you will be having only these two lines, that's it, nothing else, right? So I should first locate T1. I should know where T1 is. What is T1? Point of curve. I should know where curve starts. Then I should know where curve ends on this line, isn't it? So these two are unknown, which I have to find out in the field now, right? How I am going to find out those 2 points is by using the chainage available with me. So chainage of point of intersection V is available, that is 1190 meter. That is an example, right? So now I am going to tell you how I am going to get the chainage of T1, right? It is quite simple. If I know what is the tangent length, right? So that means length of tangent, that is VT1. If I am able to get what is VT1, then I can easily find out what is the chainage of T1, right? So how I am going to get T? I have the formula for that. So T is equal to R tan delta by 2. Isn't it? So in the last session we have solved even problems on this. T is equal to R tan delta by 2. T is the tangent length or length of tangent, right? So now I have R, just an example, 300 meter, tan, let us say delta is around 30 degree, right? So 30 by 2, right? So whatever is the radius and whatever is the delta, so based on this we will find out what is the value, right? So let us see how much is that. I may end up having the wrong answer, but try to understand the topic behind this, concept behind everything. So tan 15 into 300, so that comes around 80.38. Tangent length is 80.38 meter, right? So that means what? From here to here the distance is 80.38 meter. So that means what? If this is the chainage of this point 1190 meter, right? Curve is going to start 80.38 meter behind this, right? So 80.38 meter behind is this point, and from this point the curve starts, isn't it? So this is what is this value which you have got, right? Now if chainage of V is 1190 meters and if tangent length is 80.38 meter, then how I am going to get the chainage of T1, right? So it is 1190, it is chainage of V minus tangent length, isn't it? So 1190 minus T1 or minus T. So that comes around minus 1190. So that comes around 1109. So 1109.61 meter. So this is chainage of T1. Chainage of T1 is 1109.61 meter. So from this I have to measure 80.38 meter, then I have to mark point T1. How I am going to do that? I already have where the change in direction of the road is. From this I have to measure 80.38 meter from backwards tangent, and I have to mark a point and I have to call it as T1. So this is the point from where curve starts, isn't it? Now if I have to find out the chainage of T2, the next thing, right, how I am going to do that? So it is not 1190 plus T, right? Because your actual direction of the road is not this now. Your actual direction of the road is this, right? So it is not 1190 plus T, it is 1109.61 plus length of curve, isn't it? So this length of curve has to be added. And what is the formula for length of curve? You already have seen. It is L is equal to pi r delta by 180. So use this formula, find out length of curve, and you will be able to get the chainage of T2. So how I am going to do that? So pi r is 300, delta is 30 degree divided by 180. So that comes around 157. So L is 157.08 meters. So this is the length of the curve. From here to here, the distance along the curve, it is 157.0. Now if I have to get the chainage of T2, chainage of T1 plus length of curve. What is chainage of T2? Chainage of T1 plus length of curve. So length of curve is 157.08. Chainage of T1 1109 plus 1109.61. So that comes around 1266. So 1266 0.68 meters. Right? So 1266.68 meters is the drainage of second point, that is T2, point of tangency. Right? So from this, right, you can even measure this point along T. Right? So T is 80.38. Along this line, you measure 80.38 and fix up a point. So that will be the point T2. Its drainage will be 1266. Right? Marking the point can be done using the same T. Right? So measure backwards, you will get point of curve. Measure T forward, you get point of tangents. Right? But the drainage of the second point T2 will not be drainage of V plus T. It is going to be drainage of T1 plus length of the curve. So that is what is very important, which you need to understand here. Right? So for every curve which you are going to set out, so this is how the process is going to be. Right? So before you start the problems on setting out of curves, you get number of problems on setting out of curves. You have number of methods on this. So based on every method, you will have problems on it. Right? You will get the problem derivations first, then you will go with the problems. So every problem require you to understand this first, and you are supposed to solve this, then actual problem starts. So this is the preliminary calculation required for every problem you get in setting out of curves. Clear with this? So how I am going to get the drainage of point of curve and how I am going to get the drainage of point of tangents. Right? And when you start with actual setting out of curve, you always require to know something called as peg interval. Right? And peg interval is very important when you mark up the point. Right? So if now I have got one point here and one more point here, now I have not started with setting out of curves. So setting out of curve, how exactly this is done is, you are supposed to have some points, right? You are supposed to have some points on the curve. So joining those points smoothly will give the curve form. For an example, if I ask you to draw a curve without using the compass, right, then how you will be able to do that? So you cannot simply randomly draw a line. What you generally do is you start having number of dots, isn't it? Then joining those dots will give you a smooth curve, right? So in a similar way, setting out of curve will be able to give you number of points on the curve, right? So how closely you want those points, it is left to you, right? So if you want them close enough, you have the idea behind that. I will tell you how exactly it is done in setting out of curve. So remember, if you want to get accurate curve, so number of points have to be more, right? And distance between the points have to be lesser. So distance between the points itself is nothing but the peg interval. If I am talking about peg interval, so I am talking about the points which you are going to have, right? So the points, if I am going to select 2 points here on the curve, right? So if I am going to locate these 2 points, right, the distance between those 2 points can be called as peg interval, right? So peg interval is the distance between the 2 full points. I will tell you what are full points, and it generally depends on normal chord and subchord. That is what is called as, also called as full chord and subchord. So distance between 2 points is called as peg interval, right? So peg interval will be generally taken equal to 1 chain length. Peg interval will be generally taken as 1 chain length. So one chain will be generally having a length equal to 20 meter or 30 meter. So it depends on the type of chain, right? So generally one peg interval will be 1 full chain, right? Or you can even call it as 1 complete multiple of 10 also. Or sometimes if you want a higher accuracy, smaller interval will be taken, 5 meter also will be taken. So it depends what kind of accuracy you want and what is the length of the curve which is supposed to be drawn, right? So peg interval means distance between 2 points on the curve, right? So as I have told you, normal chord and subchord. Normal chord is the chord whose length is equal to one full chain. This is what the definition I have told you in the previous classes. While discussing about elements of chord, I have told you what is normal chord and what is subchord. Normal chord is the chord which will have its length equal to one full chain, right? So either it may be of 20 meter or 30 meter. Subchord is the chord which will have its length less than one full chain, right? So this length, if it is one full chain, that is 20 meter, then this chord is called as normal chord. To show you chord correctly, right? So this is one point, this is one point on the curve. This is a chord. If this chord is of full chain, 20 meter chain if I am using, if the length of this chord is 20 meter, then it is called as normal chord, right? And any chord lesser than this length, for an example a 12 meter, from here to T1 there is one chord. So if that chord length, if it is less than one full chain, then it can be called as subchord. Clear? Then one more full chord and then maybe a subchord, isn't it? So one curve will have two subchords. Remember, whenever you set out a curve, you will have two subchords, right? One in the beginning and one at the end, right? And all the chords in between them will be full chords, right? Always a curve, whenever you set out, will have two subchords whose length will be less than one full chain, one in the beginning and one at the end, right? And all the chords in between the two subchords will be full chords or normal chords, right? First subchord we call it as, and this we call it as last subchord. First subchord and last subchord. Understood this, right? And a minimum number of chords to draw the curve will be 3. Minimum number of chords required to draw the curve is 3. And out of those 3, how many will be full chords and how many will be subchords? Every curve set out will have 2 subchords. So if I am going to have 3 total chords, so 2 subchords, so that means what? Only one full chord you will have, isn't it? So one in the beginning, one at the end, and in between the two you have one more chord which is called as full chord, right? So this is what is to be understood now, and based on this I am going to solve some more problems on the next topic or next lesson. So try to understand the next topic on this, okay? So try to remember everything whatever we have discussed, and try to go on learning this, use textbook and try to remember the topic, okay? Thank you.